guys, FraudCON is back and I am very, very excited and I want to share with you how we actually built the agenda for today. It all started with our amazing international team, our advisory board. We talk about legends here. So Julie Conroy from ITE and Frank McKenna from FraudCON Fraud, Carice Hendrick from Fraudology, Ian Mitchell from the Noble, and the last but not least, Ken Pala. I've known Ken for many years when he was working at the Union Bank. So this is our fantastic advisory board. Now, the first question that I asked was, guys, should we go for virtual or just good old face-to-face live event, in person? Everyone said, look, the virtual must stay. People really, really like the virtual format. But people who actually attended the FraudCON before the global virus outbreak, when it was hosted by Tel Aviv University as a side event of Cyber Week, said, hey, we can't afford not to reunite after like 3 years where the fraud fighting community, didn't meet. So everyone kind of enjoys the face-to-face event. Let's do that again. So it was decided to do both events. Today, June 27th, we're doing FraudCON. We're airing FraudCON virtual just now. But Thursday, June 30th, we'll hold FraudCON in person and meet again after 3 years of separation. The person who's going to lead the in-person FraudCON event is Gilit Saporta from Double Verify. And those who know Gilit would know that she came before, from Simplex, Forter, PayPal. She's also the author of the best-selling book, Practical Fraud Prevention. So if you are in Tel Aviv and haven't registered yet, do it now. Just Google FraudCON in person, or you can do it via the Cyber Week page, and you'll find it and just register. So that's happening Thursday. The bottom line, hey, this is going to be an awesome week. We have FraudCON War Stories running just now after these opening words, and FraudCON in person running this Thursday in Tel Aviv. All right, so let's actually start. And, once we settled on the scope, the next question was, are we keeping the binge style experience, like 20-minute episodes recorded by the world's best financial crime fighters? And everyone said, hell yeah. I mean, that's something that people really look forward to. So, seeing folks talk about actual experiences is much better than having panels or discussions, and it's such a great way for our community to collaborate and learn. So we decided, hey, let's do it again. And remember, you can watch these right now, after these opening words, but you can also watch them later. As soon as the technical team makes it available, you'll be able to watch everything and binge your favorite fraud war stories. All right, so let's actually start. When we set about discussing the content, and obviously we didn't meet in person, it was all a Zoom conversation. It became clear that everyone wants this year to focus on scams, and I think the general notion is scams is the future. It's the present and the future, actually. Julie said that scams are the #1 growing trend that she sees in her analysis, and Ian Mitchell actually suggested something interesting. How about creating an arc of war stories coming from different directions and perspectives? How about a leading bank talking about scamming their customers? How about an e-commerce company talking about the scams that they see? Social media talking about scams and how to educate people around detecting them. So that was a very interesting sort of idea. And what you want to see are several conversations around scams from multiple different perspectives. So we've created this arc of stories, all focused on scams. We'll hear from Fifth Third Bank, we'll hear from Walmart and TikTok. At the end of the show, we'll hear from a very, very special and very brave guest. She's a scam survivor. Her story was made famous in the Netflix series, The Tinder Swindler. That's going to be a very interesting war story to hear about. Okay, so first is first. We're going to start FraudCON War Stories with a bang. And several years ago, a gigantic explosion shook a Middle Eastern capital. It destroyed whole buildings, had a huge toll in human life, and its origin is still somewhat shrouded in mystery. Ray Blake and Graham Barrow, who run the amazingly popular podcast, The Dark Money Files, are going to tell us about some mysterious financial trails leading to the warehouse in which the explosion material was stored. Their investigation is one of the most interesting financial crime war stories you're going to hear this year. Senior citizens are a constant target of social engineering and scams, elders abuse. When you become a senior citizen, you'll probably figure out why. I mean, you're going to have a lot of money, relatively speaking, to what you have now in your bank account, and you'll also be far less savvy about current trends in technology, than, say, your grandkids. So Brad Hackey from Fifth Third Bank will share war stories around fighting those who abuse and scam the elders. Esti Rubinstein is a web researcher at IBM Trusteer Cybersecurity Labs, and she reminds us of the amazing story of D.B. Cooper, who hijacked an airplane, and that was in the early 70s, got a huge ransom in cash, and then parachuted to an unknown and uncertain fate, never to be caught by authorities. Esti is researching the modern-day equivalent of D.B. Cooper and tells a compelling war story. Gift cards, one of the easiest cash out methods ever created, and scams involving gift cards are ever more popular. Claire Rashton and Nathan Old, senior directors at Walmart, have seen a huge amount of scams involving gift cards and will share what they've learned. All right, you wouldn't think of postal code as a new paradigm in cybersecurity defense, right? Well, analyzing the way in which you type your postal code is actually one of the most interesting recent developments in e-commerce fraud detection and authentication. The regulators in Europe now expect retailers to use strong customer authentication in every digital transaction, every payment. And in the UK, the science of behavioral biometrics is coming to the rescue. It appears that no one types your postal code like you, and especially criminals who have compromised your credit card information and just try it online. Gemma State from BioCatch will share an interesting tale in a real-world case study in how postal codes are now the secret key to one's digital identity. You know the fraud fighting industry is doing something right when a social media giant like TikTok, immensely influential, popular with kids and young adults, joins the good fight. It's a sort of collaboration that might be a game changer, actually. And we'll see Ian Mitchell from The Noble and Lloyd Temple, who is a financial crime investigator in TikTok, talk about moving collaboration around fraud and scams to the next level. A very, very interesting conversation. Francisco Menes, he actually says only the tax authorities call him Francisco, everyone else calls him Paco. He is a great thought leader in the field of AML and financial crime. He headed retail banking financial crime risk analytics for HSBC until recently, and is now with fintech company eCompay. Paco tells a story of innocent-looking merchants that have a very decent and honorable front, but in fact sell something completely different, which, as you'll discover, is a big issue. Content piracy has evolved over the years, and Avigail Gutman from Cynamedia is one of the leading authorities on protecting against cyber piracy attacks. She'll explain how it all started, what's happening these days, and where it's going from here. So stay tuned. Hey, we've all heard about NFTs, and some of us actually own an NFT. Like this one, for example, that's my own unique orchard, an orange orchard. It's an NFT, it's a digital thing. It's not as famous or as pricey as, let's say, the Bored Ape Yacht Club NFT series, but well, you never know one of these days. Anyway, Max Gebhard of Outsier, an RSA company, will tell us about the latest on NFT scams, and there are quite plenty of these. The last story in our scam arc is very personal, very emotional, very brave. It is the story of a scam survivor. Netflix made her story and the story of kindred spirits who also fell victim to the same con man famous in the Tinder swindler. She has a riveting story to tell, and I think we should all listen because at the end of the day, this is why we're here, to stop the bad guys, to help protect the good guys. That's what fraud and financial crime fighting is all about. All right, so one last thing. Remember that these are pre-recorded sessions. There won't be an opportunity to ask questions in real time. So what you should do if you have any questions is just to connect to the speakers. The speakers are happy to accept connections over LinkedIn. So you can just try that and then send your questions. And I hope that, and I'm sure that they will respond in due time. That's it, guys. So without further ado, let the binge begin.